What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be ranking the Monsterverse movies. That is the 4 films brought to us by Legendary, featuring the classic monsters such as Godzilla, Mothra and Kong. How do they stack up now we've got the 4 out? Apparently there's more in the future, but we have to see if Toho are going to give Legendary the Godzilla franchise again. But without further ado, let's get on to my list and how I ranked the Monsterverse. So, I think the Monsterverse has been fairly consistent throughout, its 7 years of being a kind of universe of movies. And I think that it's great to be a Godzilla fan, but specifically in 2014 we had Legendary's Godzilla. It would have been the first Godzilla in 10 years since Toho's Final Wars in 2004. And then since then we've just had a smorgasbord of Godzilla stuff. So I really do thank the Monsterverse for just bringing back Godzilla and the whole Godzilla, mythos back into prominence. And it's been a great time to be a Godzilla fan. With that being said, what is bottom of the list in the Monsterverse?
Number 4.
Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Now, with this one, I feel that the actual monster action and the Godzilla kind of Godzilla-ness is bang awesome, right? Bang awesome. The only problem I have with this movie is that the film is just bogged down to the point where it's a tough watch. It's a tough rewatch, bogged down by just human bollocks. More so than the other films in the Monsterverse. The human bollocks in this is like family drama on a global scale almost. It is absolutely mind-numbingly dull. I don't care about any of their characters. I really don't care about the characters. Every time I want to do like a marathon, rewatch these movies back to back, I dread putting this on. Not because it's bad per se, but mostly because the human characters and the human story is just unbearably boring. And I just want to see Godzilla do awesome Godzilla shit. When we do get to the Godzilla shit, it is fucking awesome. It has a ton of Easter eggs retained into the older Japanese movies. You get them dropping the oxygen destroyer into the sea in the mid part of the movie. We have a bunch of other little nods in there. The biggest nod for me was at the end of the film, spoilers. He comes out as Burning Godzilla. Now, a lot of people don't know what Burning Godzilla is. In 1995, Toho released a film called Godzilla vs. Destroyer, where Godzilla is at his nuclear peak and he's basically burning up from the inside and he's going to explode. He has that burning design throughout the whole film. And that's where, when he steps out of the water in this and everything just starts to melt and he's all glowing red, I'm in the cinema losing my absolute shit because it's a massive Easter egg for that 95 Japanese Godzilla film. So like I said, the Godzilla stuff is awesome. I wish it wasn't all at night. That's a bit of a downer as well. Yeah, the human stuff just bogs this film down and it makes it the hardest film to go back to in the Monsterverse, in my opinion. I still think it's alright. I still came out of the cinema when I first saw it really going, that was awesome. But on a rewatch, you do see a lot of cracks in this film, unfortunately, especially with the human stuff. But on the plus side, this still looks nice, isn't it?
Number 3.
Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, this has a similar issue as King of the Monsters, but the issue is a bit of a lesser extent. This is a great sub 2 hour movie with 2 monsters just kicking the absolute shit out of each other. I thought it was fantastic. I love where they took Kong in this film. They really humanized him and made him the main character, the star of the film almost. I also really like what they did with Godzilla. They made Godzilla like this just savage, does not give a fuck about you kind of character, where he can sense a presence that he doesn't like. Kong is in the way, he's gonna fuck up Kong. That is basically the great thing about this movie. It is just an epic wrestling match of a movie. Obviously Godzilla and Kong duke it out. When I say this has similar issues as King of the Monsters, I mean, obviously with the human side of the story, it's of a lesser extent. It's not as massive, it's not as grating and dull as King of the Monsters, but it concerns the subplot with Millie Bobby Brown. I think that's her name. I don't even know. The girl from Stranger Things. The subplot with her is just unnecessary, I think. I understand that she's kind of like, she knows Godzilla's not there to hurt people. He's sensing something else, and that's why he's going mad. And I guess you got to have someone on Godzilla's side, I suppose. But the subplot with her is so basically,
let's have a look what the bad guys are doing. Oh, they're making a Mecha Godzilla. Oh no.
that's basically what that subplot was about. It was an exposition dump after an exposition dump kind of subplot, and I didn't find it really necessary. I think you could cut that whole portion out of the movie, and I think the movie would flow a lot better. One thing I will say about this movie that really fucking pisses me off in all these fucking American monster movies, why the fuck does Godzilla need, why do these giant monsters need human interference to win a fight? Fuck off. They're giant bloody monsters, they can sort themselves out. But anyway, I digress. Godzilla vs Kong, I still really enjoy it. It's got its problems, but it's not perfect by any means. But yeah, it comes in at number 3.
Number 2.
Kong Skull Island. I really like this film. It's probably one of the best looking movies I've seen in terms of its cinematography and its use of colour. And it's just a very strikingly good looking film. Amazing cinematography. And I really like where they took the story. I like how they used Kong as this, the humans they're trespassing in his territory, so he's gonna fucking protect his home. And I like where they took that. It was very, very clever. I'm glad it wasn't just another retelling of the King Kong story that we've already had 2 remakes for. I'm glad it wasn't that. I'm glad it's its own story. I thought it was really good. I thought the action was on point. I liked the characters. I thought the human characters were quite likeable, and I actually enjoyed them all. I think they're all good. I thought Samuel Jackson was great in it. I don't know all the actors' names. The guy who plays Loki, you probably know his name. I don't. I thought he was really good. Brie Larson is Brie Larson. Yeah, I thought they all put in a fairly decent performance, and I thought they were all fairly charismatic. The monster action is fucking brutally violent. I was surprised how violent this film is when it concerns its monster action. There was scenes in this film that I didn't expect to see. Some horrific stuff in this movie, especially when it's like a 12. I'm really surprised how brutal this film is. Fairly brutal. But I thought I was engaged from the word go. I think it's a very, very entertaining film. I would have loved to have seen it in the big screen. I never got to see it in the big screen. I'm gutted. This is by far the number 2 on the list in a big, the margin between these two is massive in my opinion. This is such a incredible film that it just is so, I love this movie, but Kong is so far ahead of the gamut in terms of how good it is in my opinion. That wow, it's to me it's a 10 out of 10 monster movie. It's definitely a monster movie I recommend everyone to check out before they die. If you're a monster fan, you've probably already seen it. It's just awesome. I fucking love this film. It's fantastic, and it deserves to be number 2, definitely. Number 1 is a no-brainer. If you know me, you know how much I love and adore this film.
Number 1.
2014 Godzilla. This is a perfect monster movie in my opinion. There's a lot of people that complain about how Godzilla's barely in it, slow, the characters aren't interesting. I disagree with all those complaints. I think Godzilla's in it enough to the point where we get to see awesome Godzilla stuff. They build him up to the point of his reveal being absolutely majestic, and I absolutely adore it mate, when they kind of pan up to his body, they get to his head and he just roars. It's just fucking just awesome. I love it so much. I really like the human characters in this. I really do. I think Ken Watanabe's character is one of my favourite characters to appear in a Godzilla movie. I know he's playing Dr. Serizawa from the original 1954 movie. He's putting his own spin on that character. But I like where he kind of almost worships Godzilla, and he has all the belief and all the faith in Godzilla that he could basically solve the Muto problem. And he was right. Godzilla absolutely just fucks up the Mutos basically just messes them up. Has one of my favourite kills in any movie ever. Let's vomit atomic breath down this Muto's throat. It's just a sign of badassery to me. It's just Godzilla just going, yep, I am alpha, I am the fucking big dog, don't fuck with me. It's awesome. Like I said, I really like the characters. I think Ken Watanabe's performance as Dr. Serizawa is awesome. He's also really good in King of the Monsters as well, I forgot to mention. I really like the main dude. I don't know the actor's name, I'm awful with actors' names. But the main character, his quest of just getting back to his wife and kid, that is something I think a lot of people can relate to, and I just really thought it was really good. Sure, they could have kept Bryan Cranston throughout the whole movie and it would have made the film better, but I'm not overly sad that they have him from the beginning and they kill him off later. This film for me has pitch perfect pacing. I think the pacing is exactly what it needed to be for this to be a great kind of fucking majestic movie in terms of scale. The build up and suspense is unbelievably good. Yeah, for me, again, like, you know, Kong, 10 out of 10. This is another 10 out of 10 monster movie for me. I know a lot of people have their issues with it, but I love it from start to finish. I think it's just absolutely captivating. And what this 4K does for the picture is unbelievable. A lot of complaints as well when this came out was it was too dark. Well, HDR fucking solves that problem, guys. Oh my god, this is like almost watching a different movie. It looks unbelievable in 4K. But yeah, my point is, number one, Godzilla 2014 for the Monsterverse. It started the Monsterverse, and it still is the best Monsterverse movie in my opinion. I think it's a perfect monster movie, 10 out of 10. And it is, if you want to know, guys, it is the film that kind of kick-started my obsession with the King of the Monsters. I wouldn't be a Godzilla fan without this movie in my life. I fucking adore this film. It is perfection. Could Godzilla be in it more? Of course he could, right? Of course he could. But I think what we got is a expertly crafted, very, very wonderful film with pitch perfect pacing, amazing detail, and incredible sense of scale. My word, this film knows how to present massive creatures in our kind of day-to-day human world. It's unbelievable. That is my list, guys. That is my list. Just a quick recap. Number 4, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Number 3, Godzilla vs. Kong. Number 2, Kong Skull Island. And number 1 is, of course, Godzilla 2014. Let me know your ranking and how you would rank the Monsterverse down below. And if you're new here, maybe become a subscriber, Runu. That would be pretty awesome. Hit the like button as well for the YouTube algorithm. It's the best way to get my videos out to the YouTube world. As always, guys, I have been Jason, and I have more ranking videos coming to the channel. Look forward to it. I'll see you soon.